like to call the Whitemarsh Abolition Hall Steering Committee meeting to order. It's Monday, September 8th. We're starting just after 7 p.m. Good evening, everybody. Tonight, Deb and Darren are not able to join us, but we do have Dana and Ed, which is wonderful. And our approval of minutes, were there any questions or anything that you wanted to highlight? Anybody? No. Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. And then we have an overview here from Claire, Donato, and Renee, I think is online. Perfect.
Yes.
And they are from the Mark B. Thompson Associate for the consulting services that we talked about at the last committee meeting. So, Claire, would you like to begin?
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Claire Donato with Mark Thompson Associates, and we just have a brief report. We have been given authorization from the township to proceed with the services outlined in the proposal that was reviewed, I believe, at the last steering committee meeting and then the follow-up Board of Supervisors meeting. Since that time, we've met with the township on a few occasions to discuss the project schedule, the engineering services, and just generally the project protocols for getting started. We've also met with Gilmore and Associates, as we had outlined in the services, to discuss with them any available documentation that we can make use of as we get organized for the investigations and the assessment. We've also discussed options with Gilmore for preparing other site data and developing more accurate base drawings for the buildings. The township has also been assisting us with identifying possible other archival resources, which we'll be following up with. And MBTA, our firm, has also developed a scope of work and descriptions for the assessment activities that we'd begin undertaking. And we've reviewed that with Gilmore and Associates, and we'd also be contacting mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection engineering companies to get proposals from some firms to review with the township and make a selection on that group. We're working with Gilmore and Associates on setting dates for an on-site assessment, and that includes our data collection activities, as well as working on procuring estimates for the additional documentation that may be useful and that we can further evaluate with the committee and the township. So we have a preliminary schedule that will guide our work on the assessment activities for the next 3 months. The development of documents and preparation of base drawings we're underway with that, but that will be ongoing, but focused on that this month. By mid to late month, we plan to be on site with Gilmore and Associates with their structural engineer and civil site engineer to do the on-site investigations and data collection. By mid-October, we will be working on compiling data and developing recommendations. And by early November, we are targeting developing prioritized cost and budget estimates. And then by late November, December would be formatting a report for delivery and review with the committee. And we'd, of course, be having regular, and that's part of what we've been doing, is setting up regular check-in meetings throughout that duration. Additional month-to-month scheduling goals are being reviewed with the township to look beyond that next 3 months to 6 to 8 months and what the target goals are for that period. And that refers back to our proposal, which in addition to the assessment, we'd be providing other administrative services as well as assisting with evaluating programming options and governance and other organizational approaches to the site and your longer-term evaluation of next steps and fundraising and those sorts of things. So, any questions?
Yeah, I just have one recommendation, is that the MEP be engaged soon.
That's the
If you're
idea,
meeting
yeah,
with
yeah.
the structural and such, early October.
Yeah, I mean, that was the goal. We just wanted to, there was some vacation times that we were working around and just kind of getting everyone's feet on the ground and organized at the same time. So we'll certainly have that as a priority.
Yeah, walking through the property, I think MEPs is going to be one of the more tricky features in this. So having them engaged early, I think, is a good thing. Will that contract be held by the township directly, or will it be through your office?
My understanding is it would be through the township, but it could be either way, whichever.
Yeah, I think it would be through the township.
Okay. But you'll facilitate?
But, yeah, it would be oversaw by Claire and her team.
That's great.
Thanks for asking that.
Excellent.
John has a question.
Can I add to that too?
Sure.
To your proposal that the hardcore should start interjecting any kind of review for the project itself. I'm sure it's going to be very small amount, but just for the record, I'd like the hardcore to be recognized and still be there and do the work they need to get done.
Excellent point. Right.
Right.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So JC, can we make sure that, like, because he's bringing up the great point about making sure that HARB is updated as well. Yeah. I don't know that there'll be any action item that they need to vote on just yet, but probably not.
Yeah, just to address that point, and correct me if I'm wrong, I view HARB, this phase is sort of what's there today.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think HARB's interactions become more critical as we start to look at what's going to be there tomorrow.
Sure, but I just want to make sure that we get there ahead of the fast pitch before we get too deep into any of this.
Early collaboration saves time, saves money, definitely.
Any other questions? Yes.
Sidel Zove. Just ask for some clarification. The reference to programming in architectural terms, I want to make sure I understand, means how the spaces will be used for what purposes, as opposed to what programs will come in to occupy the spaces. And along those lines, I'm wondering whether the programming of the spaces would include looking at the grounds, the 8 acres of fields. That's my question.
It's my understanding programming would include use of the grounds, yes.
The fields.
Specifically. But what programming, like your delineation between how the space versus how the space is used for the programs and what programs exactly, I don't think we're getting into that. We're not, yeah. Just leave it at that. Any other comments about that? Anybody here, thoughts about the programs?
No.
Yeah.
Claire, would you just clarify, just for the audience, when you talk about programming, you're talking about versatility of the space, how the space can be used for different things as opposed to specific uses of the building. Is that accurate?
Right, but I think whatever stage that you're at, we can assist with. We would initially be looking at flexibility of spaces, the exterior spaces, how they might be improved to support a range of different types of programs. If you're at a stage where you're beginning to look at possible partners and what types of programs they might deliver on site, we can also work with you to assess how they might have, where the best fit might be with the buildings and the property.
Great.
Thank you.
And I have a follow-up to this point, if I could.
I'm wondering if included in the programming of the spaces will be consideration about parking for anybody that's using either the fields or the buildings.
Absolutely, it has
Yeah,
to.
programming has to include
Tandem.
how the people are actually coming to attend.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. Any other questions related to Claire Renee's proposal or plan? Okay. Moving on to the Abolition Hall status updates, 14 Marple Lane.
14 Marple Lane, we're still waiting for 14 Marple Lane to get recorded with the county. Once that's done, then we can move ahead with, well, that would be the subdivision, and we can move ahead with the sale of the property. One update there is that I was informed last week that the tenant will be moving out. September 30th would be his last day. So he dropped off his check and left a letter stating that. So he's.
I don't know if this needs to be said, but I think that it would be advantageous to wait till the property's vacant to list it, just so that people can get inside, do an open house. You know, has that been considered?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. We were unsure how I was going to move ahead with that anyway. This helps a little bit, not that
Yeah.
we wanted him to leave, but he found another spot. So.
Good.
Do we have any other information on the status of how it currently is? Has anyone been in there? I can't
Not
imagine.
since the original walkthrough.
Okay.
Had some pictures taken, but
The pictures that we saw,
yes.
yeah, so,
There's work.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It would
there
be a
are-
challenge, yeah.
Yep. Yes.
A question about the property. What funds were used to purchase Marple Lane? Were they open space funds? Because my understanding of Act 153 is that any land purchased with open space funds can only be sold with a referendum from the public. So I just want to make sure we don't get into legal difficulties if that's true, if it was purchased with open space.
I would.
I don't
thought
think
it
the whole
was.
property was. I think the grounds were, somehow it was divided, that the grounds were open space, the other was capital or
As long as it
general.
works, good.
That's a great point, so we'll definitely clarify that.
And if it had been sold with open space, if purchased open space funds, then the easement would have different restrictions. But we are going to have an easement on this property to protect the wetlands, is that correct? We should make sure that we have a good assessment of the property when the easement is written, because we have a legal right to inspect the property and make sure that the easement is being followed in years to come. So we should make sure that we have a good report on the conditions at the time of sale, so that we can follow up, make sure this person doesn't fill in the wetlands or otherwise violate the easement. So we
Yes,
should make
that
sure.
has been inspected and looked at by the engineer, and they
Well, I don't-
documented that.
I'm not talking about the house, I'm talking about the land.
The what-
Okay,
yeah.
good, making sure. Okay, I just wanted to make sure these
No,
things
the
are
house
followed.
is not, I mean, there's a report from a building inspector years
That's
ago.
a-
I don't, we
that's
have not been in that.
No,
All right.
and we're not going to have an easement on the home.
I have not been in that
But for the
house.
land that we have the easement on, just to make sure that we have good documentation and plans to follow up, and then we have a right to follow up and inspect and make sure that they are following them. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Several months back, I asked a question at a meeting of the Board of Supervisors regarding which funds were used to purchase which portions of the property. And Mr. Kilkenny volunteered that open space funds were not used to purchase Marple Lane, therefore it's not subject to the referendum. What was used was the Carabots contribution to purchase Marple Lane and the fields. So the only portion, I'm sorry, I have that wrong. Marple Lane and the homes and the 8 acres of open space were funded by the Open Space Fund. And my understanding is that there will not be an easement recorded. I asked this question at one of the recent meetings, and the engineer clarified that there is, because of the wetland, there is a code provision that protects the wetland and a buffer surrounding it. And that the site plan, the subdivision plan, which was drawn up by Gilmore, I believe, shows the contours of the wetland and the contours of the protective buffer. So that will presumably show up in
That's
the
gonna be the
recorded
subdivision
subdivision
plan, yes.
plan.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
But not a specific easement.
No, there is no
Right.
easement.
Which is a point that I was about to make. We have land use protections that will protect those sensitive areas, and selling the property without an easements tend to create, I actually think it's great the way it's working, because easements tend to create a little bit of concern in buyers, whereas now it's a house on a 1 acre lot. Does that sound right?
Roughly. Yeah, a
Roughly
little
1
less
acre
than
lot.
that.
So land use restrictions will protect it, current code will protect any, delineation stuff, and then
We have a right to, sorry.
Well, yeah, but-
we'll have a right to inspect
So-
or to make sure that they are protecting the wetlands?
Right.
Yes.
And the engineer said that she and other Whitemarsh staff would be on site if and when there is a plan to improve the property, building permits, all of that would trigger.
Well, I'm talking 10 years from now, 20 years from now. We all know people who do things that they shouldn't, but we have to, would we have the
They
right?
creep in there.
Yeah, so as long as there is a power by the government
Yep.
to make sure that they are following
The
these
recorded
rules for
plans would show
wetlands.
that. The
and then
recorded
we-
plans would show the wetlands. And
Good, and then we follow up, on that.
You can, there was one of the packets, I think it was Board of Supervisors several months ago, included the subdivision plan with the buffer delineation,
Yeah.
the wetland and the buffer delineation. I can send it to you.
Watching what some of my neighbors have done to
Oh, yeah.
township property that their land backs up to, and how their yard is suddenly 60 feet deeper. People are not always respectful of things, and so we want to make
who
sure.
are those neighbors? No. Nice job, Craig, on getting this going. Thank you. This is a lot of work, just to say, it's got to get recorded. Well, there's a lot of work that goes into it, so thanks for moving that so quickly.
Yep. Next, we are going to move forward with the deck replacement at Abolition Hall with a local contractor with 3 proposals. Del Buno and Sons, I think it is, or Del Buno Contractors is going to do that. The Public Works is going to remove the deck to save some money. And that'll be moving along.
What's the cost to replace?
$18,375.
Seems like a fair number. It's pretty high up there, so
yeah.
it's not ground level.
No, it's not. And that would save the liability that I'm more worried about. So, tree work, the bids went out. We had a pre-bid meeting. We had 5 contractors go to the pre-bid meeting. Only 3 actually bid on it. That's going to the board this Thursday. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say the numbers or who it was, but John Hosbach.
It's in the packet.
It's in the board packet, right? Yeah. So it was Yellowstone was the contractor for $69,847.90. The number going with the arborist, John Hosbach, he thought that number was good. He was still reviewing everything, but off the top of his head, he thought that number was a pretty fair number for the work that's going to be done. So that'll go to the board this Thursday. If the board approves that, the time frame would be about October 13th, and then the end of the contract would be January 13th. So they have that time frame that they can remove all the trees and get everything done.
Craig, question for you. Were there any local contractors that bid it that you've worked with before?
The second lowest, I guess, they did the work at Miles Park a couple years ago.
Dan Moore?
No. Mile High. They did all the pruning and they took down a couple trees and some pruning on Miles Park within 2 years. I was here, so.
Did they do a good job?
Yeah, they did.
Are they close to this Yellowstone that you've never
I
worked
think it
with?
was $5,000 difference. And then the third person was double that.
Are they is Yellowstone putting a bond up or anything?
They have to, yeah.
Okay.
And that's what John's going through, and Krista, the engineer, is going through their bid packet to make sure everything is copacetic.
Okay, excellent.
So that time frame for actual removal of the trees is going to be somewhere from October to January.
To January, right. So we gave them that time frame because the end of the year is what we were told is very slow for the tree work people, and we thought we would get a better number with that. If we could say, you could work November and December, and, it's nicer. People don't want people on their property during
With
that
their
time.
estimate, are there timeframes for how long it will take them to do it?
There is not.
Because I know it's going to impact our roads for a little bit.
Yes. So I did talk to Pico too to see if we could get, I guess I'm old, but put the sleeves on the wires, and I'm like, can we get that up now? Here's the time frame. And they're just like, no, we're going to have to actually shut down power for a couple hours at a time. So that could be a problem too.
Yeah.
If
so
it gets too far
communication
into
will
the
be
winter, it's
important
going to be a problem.
to make sure that people know.
Yeah.
Just a word of advice, put that on the contractor to coordinate.
It is, but I thought I would get ahead of the
No,
game.
that makes total sense.
We have a township liaison at Pico, so I tried to go that
The
way.
businesses in the area, right?
Right.
Right. It's not just power down, but road congestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a coordination nightmare.
It's a
Yep.
tricky intersection.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a bad intersection.
But so important to be done.
Yeah, it'll clean it up and make it safer, actually, in the long run.
You have a question, Laura?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to drop you off that subject matter, but when you come to replacement for the deck with the Abolition Hall, be prepared. I think the hardware will have to we will need to review that as it comes through our desk.
What do you need to review?
The deck.
The deck.
If it's a remove and replace
If it's remove, replace,
in kind,
Same.
yeah, I think the intent of this is, this may end up being temporary.
that's what I expect.
It's for access, safety, so it's a remove and replace in kind.
Okay, yes, I remember. I just want to make sure that, for the record, that the
Yep.
hard basically.
Do you feel that Harb needs to review a remove and replace?
No, not really, but there are fine examples of some tough work done in some of the other historical buildings. Right?
Yeah.
Make sure the contractor applies to it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it should go for approval. Yeah.
Regarding the tree, the hazard tree removal, I raised this before, but I'm going to raise it again. Concerned about the cultural landscape. And did the RFP make reference to cultural landscape issues, concerns?
When we walked out there with the pre-bid meeting, John pointed it out and pointed out all the structures on the site and said, everything should be protected. If you have to build a structure around this structure, put it in the bid, like, you know, like.
And will all of that be delineated in the contract? That it places
Yes.
the burden on?
Everything's on the contractor,
Okay.
yeah.
And-
And John will be overseeing everything, yeah.
Is there any kind of inventory of the cultural landscape artifacts that need protection? Because some of them are easy to miss, if they're overgrown or buried under mud and so forth, turf.
He pointed them out when we walked the site. I mean,
I think it is I agree, I think it's a good idea to have, maybe the Wilsons can help with that too, to make sure that we're all on literally the same page.
Yeah, there's some sculpture, there's a tile patio, the plinths at the driveway entrance, there's a lot of
yeah, I
scattered
mean, it was all pointed
items.
out, and
Yeah,
I
it
think
shouldn't be
they're,
hard to
like,
do that.
that stuff, yeah, we can write that stuff down. I mean, it's, is there anything out in the fields that we're missing that they're going to come across? That's what we were more worried about than, the arbor, or the arbor, or the statue in the middle of the driveway, or the pole, the
gate
pillars
posts-
at the
the
gate
gate posts.
in the back, or the
Right.
or the stone wall,
Right.
or the pillars up front. I mean, they're, well, I hate to say obvious, but
I think it makes sense to follow Laura's suggestion that there be a list.
It just keeps everybody
Yeah.
So
covered.
there's a frame of reference.
I actually think this is a good opportunity for public engagement. If you go to the property and you're aware of something, take a photo, identify it, provide a reference to where it is, and submit it so that we're aware of it.
I'd be happy
Because-
to do that. I have lots of pictures and
Yeah, that's
send it to
super
Craig.
helpful. Like,
Okay.
I think we look at this, even with this committee here, this is we want to engage with the township residents, and we need your help. And so if there's something you're aware of, if there's something that you're worried about, hey, this thing looks like it's kind of rickety, make sure that the tree guys are aware, take a photo, submit it so that we have record of it, so that when we meet the tree guys, hey guys, here's your list. If you damage it, we're coming after your insurance policy. You're on notice.
Yep.
I will send pictures.
The only thing I would ask is if we do this, please organize it and submit once, just for, Craig, who I know. You can send it to my email if you want. You can send it to my email, but let's just, put it all together as opposed to a stream of, hey, this, hey, that. Just one list. That way we can try to keep this.
keep it all organized, yeah.
Yes.
Not to be negative here, but I mean, I will say that this was discussed to some degree in the prior meetings, and I was discussing all the things that needed to be protected. I think I went into some detail then, but I will point out that in terms of cutting all these trees down, in terms of cultural landscape, there's a lot of the trees you guys are cutting down are the things that I consider part of the cultural landscape. They were in the hub in the paintings, they were there in photographs of the period, and the fact that you're cutting these things down, that's part of the cultural landscape as far as I'm concerned. I understand you have to do it, but I don't see it as a positive thing, in my opinion.
So we could make it a specific point to replant those. If we say that this is a culturally significant tree, as we replant the site, that would be a great thing to match rather than just plant
It's
randomly.
different than seeing an image of something, a
Truth.
tree that's actually there, not some other tree that grew in some other.
Truth.
Talking about something, that thing there is in there in a picture or a photograph 150 years ago.
Theoretically, we could actually recreate some of which was lost over the last 150 years even, to make it more like it
It's hard
was.
to make a plant recreate itself.
I think that would be really cool, though, if that was something that, you wanted to do, document stuff that you thought was important. And we could certainly try to work with Colonial Canopy to try to put some trees back. We did that at the Highlands. We lost some significant trees that had historical significance, and Dana did a really nice job of working with Colonial Canopy trees in the township to get replacements.
I absolutely sympathize and understand what you're saying, looking back at, the archives and seeing what the landscape actually looked like. I absolutely sympathize with you with that. So if there isn't, real damage to the tree, or it's diseased, or it doesn't absolutely have to come out, that's something that can definitely be looked at if there's a tree that can be saved. But I'm sure, that things were assessed and being taken out for a valid reason, unfortunately.
I'm not happy about it.
No, of course not.
To quote the guy in the movie, some of these trees were my friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Any other comments about that? So I think that brings us to the end of our updates. Any other updates since then?
It's just been routine maintenance down there. We have no issues since June 30th. So just regular landscaper going in there, cutting it, cleaning up. So all good.
Excellent.
Good work.
All right. Public comment period. Yes?
A reminder, as we talked about tree planting, that you can spend 25% of annual open space tax revenue on open space properties, so we can replace the trees and plant more trees as we wish. And we've discussed that tree planting in the future, and hopefully we will be doing that. Kind of attached to that, fall is coming. It would be a great time to have a deer hunt on this site. The site has had a significant deer herd over the years. If we're going to be doing tree planting and other kinds of improvements, I think it'd be a great time to have a deer hunt. As we discussed the one that we had in Mequon this year, I ran into, of all the people I talked to about it, one person who lets their cat kill birds. I don't want to hear about you and your problems with deer. She's all defending the deer. Meanwhile, there's dead birds in her yard. Everyone else was fully supportive of deer hunting. The deer have gotten to a point that it is obvious that they are hungry and malnourished. I've heard that from reports from the rangers at Washington State Park that our baby deer are underweight when they are born. They are starving here in Whitemarsh Township. So a deer hunt is beneficial to the environment as a whole and to the deer themselves. And, any kind of efforts we're going to have at this site.
That's an interesting point.
Yep.
We did
do this not that long ago, right? Not here, but
Yeah, last year we had a deer hunt. They're coming in Thursday to talk
they?
about the 2025 deer hunt.
Who's they?
Delaware Valley.
DVC and
Delaware Valley something.
The biggest comment I got was, when are they coming to my neighborhood? Literally, when I
Well, that's
talk
what
to people.
well, and that's some of the problem is people call me and they say, well, I have $3 in my backyard. And I'm like, okay, well, like, how big's your yard? Well, a quarter of an acre. I'm like,
Well, and if we are actually serious, I was chatting last year with somebody on the grounds at St. Thomas, and he is on the grounds committee there. We were actually doing a bird hunt. But anyway, he says St. Thomas would be willing to host one. They themselves can't pay for it, yada, yada. But if we wished to discuss with them about holding a deer hunt at St. Thomas, he, as the guy in charge of the grounds committee, would certainly run that through them.
well, that would be private property. There is no, it doesn't cost the township anything for them to come on our property to do it.
They just were not wanting to do it themselves, but would give permission to have other people organize it for them, I think was how he was thinking of it. But that is a very large herd over there. At a minimum, there's 26 of them because I counted them one night.
I'll do it, Deb. I'll handle it. I'd like to nominate myself for that role. I'll take it on.
But there's other large property owners that have reached out to me, and I put them in touch, and they are working together with the same group that we are.
Okay, Abolition Hall being a little smaller might require a little more, or even theoretically a professional. Whitpain is holding a deer hunt. I printed it off their website today. They are holding it at Armentrout. Now, that's a large enough property that apparently they're just opening it to the public. But if we had any questions about how to open a site to deer hunting, Whitpain could be a resource for us.
Anecdotally, we did a deer call at the Highlands 3 years ago, and then we didn't do it last year, and the rate of ticks was through the roof this year. And so, mowing is probably the number one, but also deer management is a close second. So
It was controlled and it was with bow and arrow.
it's with,
And that's
it's the same group that Wissahickon Trails uses. It's organized.
Which is the one we used to meet
That's the
on.
same.
Yeah, the guy's a Cape May fisherman. He's super professional. He vets all of his people. They have insurance. There's a whole structure, rigor to it,
Yeah.
and they do a really nice job. They practice. What do you do if you come upon someone and they're startled? How do you diffuse the situation? There's a whole rigor to it. Do we want to talk about maybe making a recommendation? How do you two feel about that?
No, I think it's probably needed, but I don't know that it's specific
We
to
can
Abolition Hall
talk to
property.
them about it. We're going to have tree guys down there this year, but maybe in the future, we can discuss it with them. They are looking for other areas so that it's not in one location that they're doing. So they have expressed some interest in other areas, but
This is a whole interesting topic. So do you get calls from residents on what to do? Like, we're getting a lot of deer in our backyard. Like,
it's not what to do, it's what are you going to do with the deer that are in my yard eating my plants?
yeah.
And there's nothing I can do with that.
But like, are we getting a pulse from the township or from residents in the township of the hotspot areas? Like, if this group is
No.
coming in this week, like, that might be interesting to know, like, where it's not just Abolition Hall property, it's
Right, well,
behind my backyard, and Whitemarsh Wood's backyard is a
It's all-
hotspot.
it's all-
everywhere.
It is
all
it
over.
is.
It is
yeah.
all over.
And
Yeah.
it brings up, traffic safety, right? Like,
Correct.
the deer start moving, the herds are bigger. Now all of a sudden, instead of 5 deer crossing the road, there's 15.
Yep. They get injured and then they're limping and can't jump over fences like they had, yeah.
Responsible deer management, I think, has a significant place
Agreed.
in residential communities, and it would have my full support.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that, yes.
Maybe I'm missing something here. Are you guys talking about doing a deer hunt on Abolition Hall property? Is that what you're talking about doing?
I think it's the township as a general doing it is what I'm hearing. It's not specific.
Not specific to that property.
Have you had anything like that before there?
No. I mean, frankly, that's the habitat for deer, because you aren't taking care of the property. It's overgrown. That's what deer like. I mean, that's the kind of places deer like to live. I don't see a problem with the deer being there myself. At some point, when the property gets developed in some other fashion, I can certainly see it. But right now,
We have more deer per acre than the carrying capacity, so they are eating
Who's
the
we?
native, they are eating the township. So the deer are eating the native
All I care
plants.
about is Abolition Hall.
No, I'm just talking about the township as a whole.
I'm talking about Abolition Hall.
But-
I don't see the need to have a deer hunt in Abolition Hall. That's just my opinion. There's usually 7 or 8 deer there. It's a wild area. They're not bothering anything.
Well, they are in that they are eating the native plants that the native creatures need, and we're left with the invasives and non-natives.
They are the native creatures.
But so are the things that you
You
don't.
guys do what you want.
That they already work because they've been eaten.
All right, we're going to sidebar.
We live with the deer for years and we live with it.
We're going to table this deer conversation. Are there any other public comments?
Okay. Long pause there. So there's, as far as our next meeting, I don't know that I have that on my calendar.
Well,
Is that to be determined?
I
or
think it's to be
talking
determined,
tentative?
yeah. I think the original schedule has not worked out. So I think we would be looking,
Hopefully, like,
is it end of November, early December?
that might be a good, to allow some more
Yeah,
on
some
all the
work
projects to happen
with
so that
Claire
it's-
and her team, and
Claire, what's your feeling on a good time for us to meet next? Because I think
Mondays.
your work would be, portion of the discussion.
December 1st, right?
I think that end of November, early December.
That's an appropriate time? Okay.
Are you around the 1st? December 1st?
December 1st.
Had to really put me on the spot here.
We can say a tentative time.
December 1st is the Monday after Thanksgiving. Do you want to do that?
Not really, but, you
Wanna
gotta
do
do
the
what you
8th?
gotta do, so.
To the 8th?
Those dates are fine with me.
Just Claire, just so I understand, you've got a target of December to get some sort of deliverable, which will go to the Board of Supervisors first, or does it go to sort of everyone?
Goes to the committee.
Okay.
And when does
Our
the board
super-
last?
So our December meeting is December 11th.
So that could be a good day then, the 8th.
Yeah, I'm free the 8th.
Okay.
Yeah, it could work for me.
December.
December 8th, yeah.
That'll be nice, because I don't want to go the rest of the year without having something.
It should be.
Okay.
All right.
All right, well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned?
Adjourned, meeting adjourned. I don't think we need to vote. I think we're good.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone who shows up. We appreciate your input.